Okay, quick stop. We are going to take a look at the Hidden Valley Interpretive Trail. And, oh, look at this. Bear canister required. I don't have one. So let's go take a look and see what it's all about. One thing that's interesting about this trail here is that in this valley, there used to be, actually in the whole King Range here, there used to be, I see one? No. There used to be elk all over the place, and they got hunted to extinction here in the valley. So in 1982, a number of elk were taken from the state park up in Del Norte County, about 90 miles away. I think they said 17 of them were, and they were brought down here into Hidden Valley, and they actually kept them in a 70-acre enclosed area with fence around it for a number of months until they were satisfied that the elk diminished their homing desire for wanting to get back to where they were from. And so after that period, they released the elk out to the wild, and they've stayed here ever since and have started, the herd has started growing. I guess you call it elk a herd, right? Has started growing, so maybe we'll, I guess if we shut up, we'll see some maybe. Nothing yet. And even though we may not have seen any elk yet, look at this view we have coming up right over here. This is a view, if it weren't foggy today, of the Lost Coast. Believe it or not, that's the Pacific Ocean right down there. And not only is this the Lost Coast, which is just really pretty, but this part of the Northern California shoreline is actually supposed to be a pretty good saltwater fishing area. It's a combination of the sandy bottom, rocky, also strewn with rocks. It's home to rockfish, salmon, abalone, things like that. So halibut. So it's a pretty good area all around. Just think what that would look like if we weren't foggy. And just think about being down there, you know. Right here, we're probably about 70-ish degrees, 74-ish maybe. Got a little warm breeze coming up here. But down there, I'll bet you that it's probably around 53, 54, maybe 55 degrees. So it's a big difference. And also you could see how quickly these mountains rise above the coastline there. But let's continue on, see what we have to see up here. Can we find the elk? Come on, elk, where are you? Still nothing yet, but as we get up here towards the top of the hill, starting to see a lot of manzanita. That's what this red bark stuff is. Pretty sure. And manzanita actually makes pretty good tea. I've had some long time ago. But I think we're going to crest the hill, come back down into this valley over here where we might have a chance of seeing some elk. Oh, look at this here. Looks like just a bunch of pile of sticks, right? That's actually home to the, oh, what do they call it? The dusty-footed wood rat and the they build these big piles of sticks. There's a lot of different living chambers, food storage chambers and such in there. And those piles may be used for as long as 20 years by a succession of mother-daughter generations. And I guess the 20-year deal is just, after a while, I guess they just get all deteriorated and they got to move on, make some more. But they do make other piles of sticks in the area as well, and they use those homes as well during the same period. And not only do the let's see, dusty-footed wood rats make that a home, but then the crevices are used by a variety of other animals and insects as well, such as snakes and spiders and things like that. So it's kind of like a condominium of the Lost Coast. I'm still looking for those elk. Oh, what did I hear? Nothing. All right, let's keep looking. Still no elk, but I heard them back there up on the mountain, the side of the mountain. I stopped. Couldn't see them, but I heard them. But anyway, here's another view of Hidden Valley from its southeasterly end. So the interesting thing about this valley and the grasslands here is the grasslands are actually about 30% smaller than they historically have been. And that's been due mainly to modern fire suppression efforts, which has allowed the encroachment of more trees and non-grassland type of plants. But the modern fire suppression efforts started basically 1910. If you read up on the Great Fires in the American West of 1910, and specifically an interesting account, if you can find it, is the account of Edward Pulaski and his fire crew. And as a side note, for those of you in the fire industry, if you call it that, that's where the term the Pulaski came from that you use these days. Edward Pulaski developed that after those big fires in 1910. Anyway, what I was getting at is that after all those fires in the American West in 1910, the government decided that fire suppression was the name of the game to help keep towns and ranches and stuff from burning down. Well, it did its job, but it also was kind of a two-edged sword because it allowed all these unnatural growths to take place. And so that's why today, in a lot of these fires in modern history, they become so big and so hot and burn so fast, is because of the years and years and decades of fire suppression. So the BLM here, and I'm sure in other places, is starting to try and mitigate the quote-unquote damage that was been done from fire suppression. And then also I talked to a Forest Service guy up in Idaho a couple months ago, and he said that they're doing the same thing up there, is that they're basically letting fires just burn. Naturally started fires, that is, not man-caused fires, but naturally caused fires. They're letting them run their course, especially when they're in the backcountry. Now, if they do get close to a civilization, then yeah, they're going to do their thing and save the structures and the people and all that. So anyway, that's what's happening with these grassland areas that have shrunken. You might see it on your travels where Looks like they're tearing down trees for no reason at all, whatever, but they're just trying to get the land back to the way it was. All right, let's continue on and see if we see any elk. Well, we're just about back to the ambulance. So that was our tour of keep on to call it Hungry Valley. Hidden Valley. Hidden Valley, by the way, was a portion of it was part of a spread, 160-acre spread that a guy named Frank McKee, I think, purchased from the U.S. government in 1876. He actually came here from Iowa in 1871, purchased this property here, built his own house, hunted his own meat, had a couple milk cows, grew his own vegetables. He also had an apple orchard. And much like everybody in this valley did, I mean, hardy souls back then, right? They milled their own lumber to build their own houses. In fact, I think I have a picture of his house here in 1878. So anyway, Frank McKee owned this land. He also took in travelers that were going up to Shelter Cove. So he did a little bit of everything. And what was I just going to say? I forget. So anyway, the U.S. government then bought the land back from Frank's heirs, succession of heirs, in 1981. And so that's how this became part of the, I guess you call it the King Mountain Conservation Area, or the Lost Coast Conservation Area, something like that. Anyway, hope you liked the little tour. Now that the light is going to be running out in about 2 hours, or the sun's going to set anyway, we better get a move on. We're going to be able to find a campsite with some degree of ease. Oops, looks like something didn't make it there. I'm going too fast, I think.